Joining us now to discuss the health risks in East Palestine is Dr. Corey Hebert. Doctor, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you as well.
And our correspondents on the ground speaking to residents who say they are experiencing lung issues, rashes, nosebleeds. And meanwhile, the EPA is maintaining the air is safe to breathe, the water is safe to drink. How can both of these things be true?
Well, the first thing we always have to look at is whether this is a temporal situation or a causal situation, meaning did this happen to just, out of the blue, everyone start to get these symptoms? Is that possible? Yes. But is that probable? No. We think that this is a causal situation, which means that something caused it. Now, what happened there? This toxic spill. That's what happened. So I know we're trying to break this down very in elementary ways, but this is how we have to move forward, because what will happen is that people like the EPA and other organizations will say, well, we can't say 100% that this is causing all this. But let's just be clear. We're all, logical thinking human beings here, and we know that these people were not having these symptoms. Now, when we talk about headaches, we talk about dizziness, we talk about bronchitis, we talk about even serious respiratory illnesses. This is a long-term situation that's going to have to be monitored for not 1 year, not 10 years, but decades. And the reason why is because these long-term situations can also lead to cancer as well as other very serious autoimmune problems.
Yeah, and to your point, we saw some of those acute symptoms in response to the initial derailment and burn. Just this weekend, a woman told NewsNation's Jorge Ventura that she can still smell the chemicals in the air, though. What are the long-term effects of chemical exposure people need to be aware of? I know you mentioned cancer in some cases.
Oh, absolutely. We know that when you're exposed to benzene and several other really toxic chemicals, that there are certain types of cancers that are very easily gotten from these types of exposures. You have lung cancer, obviously, and then we have things like kidney cancer, liver cancer, colorectal cancer, brain cancer. And see, one thing that people also forget too, is that this is also a mental health issue. And I never want to take that out, because, when you start thinking about long term, this is a PTSD situation. When a parent is thinking, I don't know if I'm giving my child tainted water to drink, that's a very stressful situation. So you're going to have increase in depression over time and also increasing anxiety. So once you start having stress, that also leads to more autoimmune issues as well as cancer. So I would make sure that everyone, please, if you are listening to this or you have a relative there, please have them keep a journal. They need to keep records of everything that they're feeling from now until, and there is no until. Just because all these things can add up. And then when you bring that story to your oncologist or your immunologist, you can say, this is what's been happening for this long, and I'm very, very concerned.
At what point are we talking about the order of a few years, 5 years, 10 years, or when can we expect to see some of these more serious health effects like cancer that you're talking about?
It really all depends on the concentration of the gas and the chemical that and how close you were to it, right? So you could have these types of things in a year based on you being a person that's actually working that scene and being exposed to it every day, all day, very close. Or this could be something that could be 20 years down the line. But what we have to remember is if you start having these symptoms and they do not go away. So I want to be very clear about these: rectal bleeding, shortness of breath, confusion, blood in the urine, these types of things. These are the things that will give you this acute knowledge that something has tipped over, as opposed to just being an irritation. Now, I want to be very clear about this as well. When there is any type of smoke in there, any type of irritant, when I walk into a room and there's smokers in the room, my eyes start to water and I could get bronchitis. So everybody's different, but because smoke is an irritant. But let's just see, after about 3 or 4 months, all this should be gone from your immediate acute response to this. And so if this persists, that's when you have to start looking at long-term consequences.
Okay, I appreciate that advice so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.